Hey guys, just thought I'd check in. Had a great conversation with Sean just now. I need to go to work, but I thought I'm gonna come on. Oh, I said I was gonna come on and invite Frank too. Hope they're, these kind of things for me. It really helps, kind of peeling back the layers, as it were. Being honest, it's like this cleansing. Like I say, talking to Frank is that, but it's really learning about myself, but also just the honesty bombs are so good for me. So I'm going to do one right now. Oh, I should turn off this silly thing so you can see my face, right? How do I turn this darn thing off? There we go. That was a joke. Sorry. I don't want that to distract from what I wanted to say, but I just thought about that. Go away now. I want to get this out of the way. So I thought I'd just distill down the conversation because I think oh man, that was such a beautiful conversation with Sean that I didn't want to lose it. So I decided to show up a little bit later. Get this down and then show up a little bit later. Just realized I'm gonna have to figure out which way I should park my car so I get the best lighting. Anyways, whatevs. I wanted to get this down here so I'd remember it. Otherwise I have to go back to the text conversation and I probably won't do that. Because not that I don't want to, but just that I would forget about doing that. So, whoa. I just wrote some stuff down real quick, but it's gonna be in a bit of a weird order, probably. So, starting. This is the cleanse. That was my first point. This is a cleanse, that the path is step by step, that Sean says that a lot. It's one step at a time. It's small steps. It's what we learn in group together. Now I'm going to have to skip down to that part. And that's one of the things, again, that it came up. That's why I was, drawn to Sean, that we were both on this kind of spot in our path where realizing that we are mentally ill in this way, that we found kinship in this group of us and others that were alike, and that he and I were perhaps not more alike, but it was obvious that we were taking up a lot of oxygen in that group. We both had a lot to say. And again, he was very openly honest compared with, others were open and honest, but he was just sort of, whoa, I appreciated that. And just, I guess, where we were on the path, at least in the ADHD thing, again, first group, just kind of discovering this thing, what the heck does it mean, and really trying to apply it. Like he says, step by step. My gosh, that was like a whole chapter, right, Sean? And mindfulness. I said being mindful of the landmines, basically. Being mindful of our weaknesses, our demons. As Sean's going through it right now, I cross things off as I write them because or as I read them. Anyways, as Sean's going through right now, just he knows it and I know it. Just those demons, those things. Like again, knowing yourself, seeing those, just the darkest side, the violent side, knowing that you could, without meaning to, but in hurt someone, like literally hurt someone, physically hurt someone. Knowing that it's a demon and that you're in this weak state, little push, like Frank was saying, just a little, and you're over the edge, and it could go badly, and you know yourself. That was another big lesson. Know yourself. Stop. Take time out. Reflect on everything before you jump in there and just say that thing. So what you're doing, Sean, now is just like, oh my gosh, he really learned something, or he was really listening in the group. I should have been listening a bit better, because what you're doing right now, I think, hey, you're like applying 6 or all of the examples, or a lot of the examples that they're saying. Organize yourself, stop, step back, look at it, try and just see these waves of emotion going by like leaves on a river. Analyze them, know that one's poisonous. I better not let someone touch that thing. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. I'm getting a little bit off track here. Sorry. I was all over the place. So let's just say this one. I said, I guess just about the idea of my path, and as we said before and discussed that, where my path, and I'm perfectly open with it, that might be Jesus. Like again, saying that that's a valid path. That might be where I'm leading. And so I don't want to think that I'm like leading you guys on or something, but just that I haven't accepted it yet. But again, leave it open. As sort of like, I just want to know more truth. Now, if that's the way it is, you can convince me. If you can convince me, but I guess if God and you can convince me, I'm open to it, but just not there yet. And I'm going to go back to another thing. So topics, little topic ideas that came up. Wait, did I properly invite Frank? Yeah. No, I'm just going to make Sean. Topic ideas. Armageddon. And, just at what level we're talking about, what we mean by it, sort of preparing for what could go wrong. In my mind, is sort of like the not the earth lighting on fire kind of Armageddon, but sort of the power going out kind of Armageddon, or solar flare kind of Armageddon that knocks everything out. Or that's the one thing. That's my big one. But Sean we briefly touched on that. That's fascinating. And we also talked about, just kind of preparing. And that, again, like I learned how to make, or my dad showed me how to make a fire without a match. And we had some outings, some campings where we again practice these things. So at one time I knew that. I really have to go and practice that again and teach it to my son too. I think that's important. How to live off the land too. If ever you just get, I don't know, we're thinking like not a plane crash, but some sort of thing where you're just isolated and with nothing. No tents, no nothing. And you have to not die. At one time I could do that. I could not die in that situation. I don't know if I could do that now, but I think it's important to remember that. And we talked about some readings. I thought that's a fascinating topic. Also came up like my level of philosophy, where I'm at. And I think I came into it a little bit over, like again, prideful. Like, oh, I'm like freaking Socrates or something. I'm not good at that stuff. I'm actually, I'm pretty done with philosophy, realizing it, especially the other time with Frank. Like, I try and say that I know something about these theologies or these belief systems. I don't know anything. And honestly, the time it takes is just so much. So right now I'm exploring Christianity with you guys because you guys know Christianity. Whereas I was trying to talk about these other things with Frank, like Wiccan and even Islam. Like I can't. Like I just can't get into that. I don't know what I'm talking about. And the time it would take to know what I'm talking about, I don't know how long that would take me. Too much. Like I'm just not smart in that kind of thing. If it was a math equation, I'm sure I could have it within a year. I would have 16 math equations for 16 religions, but it doesn't work that way. It's piles and piles of literal interpretation, and I'm just not good at that. So, like, I think Sean is trying to bring me up a level, which is good, and I do want to come up a level, but I'm just not at that level. I haven't, Sean went over his books in his library. I'm like, I have books, but jeepers, they might be interesting. And one, it was the case for God, a Strobel or something. I actually had that on my shelf. I saw it on Sean's shelf. Case for Christ, case for religion, case for Christianity, something like this. I think you know what I'm talking about. Strobel, I think, is the author. I have it, and it was never open. So I'm at the level of I have access to it, but I just haven't in my life, really. And when I talk about Bible school and stuff when I was young, even then I was just not understanding what the snock they were talking about. They were saying a lot of the same stuff that you guys are saying, but I was way not ready didn't understand what the snot was going on. So realizing that math, I'm smart. So it comes up that math gives you a higher IQ. And very verbose too. Like part of it is sort of getting into the autism spectrum, sort of really bad at something. So they say you start getting into the autism spectrum if you're in the top percentile of, say, math or something, and the bottom percentile of something else. So while I wasn't as bad in the bottom thing, but there was a definite difference between mathematics and physics and everything else, like memorization. That's what it took in chemistry and biology. I couldn't cut it. I got C's when I took chemistry in university. I just had to get out of it for not to drop my grade point average and stay with math. And then writing and everything language related, that was really low on writing and reading. Whereas I can talk and I have this vocabulary, but I can't apply it with my pen somehow. It's really tough. Or I can, but I have to say it, and then I'm writing it. And it takes so much and it's painful. I know it looks like I can write, but painful, and I've worked so hard. It's like the Head and Shoulders thing. Oh, but you don't have dandruff. Yeah, but or someone who's very organized. Like, but you're organized. What do you say? You're a disorganized person. No, because they made so much effort to become organized over disorganized. So that's the thing for me. What the fuck was I talking about there? Well, I'm good at some things and bad at other things. I think that was the point. So just to say to Sean, I might have oversold what I can do philosophically. Whereas Frank, I think I've come to understand, maybe we're at a lower level of philosophy, and that works really well for me. Whereas Sean, kind of inspiring or pushing me upwards, also good. I think that's really good. Yeah, hey Sean, it's a beautiful day. Sorry, I said I had to go to work, but I really want to get these ideas down. But it's beautiful today, right? Beautiful day. And it started well with this conversation with Sean. Okay, I was talking about my topic ideas. So 1, Armageddon. 2, my level of philosophy. 3, breaking the cycle. Was just, breaking the cycle in terms of bad habits. And then I broke it down for everyone. I'm like, wow, breaking the cycle for all 4 of us. Each one right now is having a different cycle breaking, whereas Sean's is the most public and just it's the most extreme. Like, he's doing it in 3 weeks. He's going from oof, oof. So but just breaking the cycle as a topic idea where we don't have to get to the exact details, but just using our experiences to kind of inform in terms of advice thing, how to break a cycle when it's a cycle due to mental illness, due to this, due to that. For Luciano, myself, Sean, Frank, as examples. I didn't put examples, but I could think of each one of us could contribute to that, I thought, while helping the other, like watching Sean, that goes into the next point, just that's it, helping each other too. So in the next point, it was love yourself. I'd put up a post. I'm going to read what Sean said just now. I need to rebuild my base, man. For sure, Sean. No, and I know what you mean. And you start at 0, and that's why I said to Frank about kind of smoking in these things, is that your mind is working differently, whereas my mind is working pretty well right now, I think. But I've been on this stable state of THC way up here for 2 years, right? I took it off a couple times and saw that when I go off, I forget things when I was in a different state. The THD brain doesn't work quite the same. But if I stay stable, or as I did before, stay stable down here, at university the first time, it was like, not like very low THC levels, maybe now and then. But then, again, I'm getting a math degree doing pure mathematics. So it's, again, at that stability. But when you crank it up and down, it's like you have to rebuild. Like, you start at 0. It's like, what? Where's my brain? Is there memories in there? Why it feels like it's just starting with an empty packet? There is obviously ways of touching into that stuff. And I feel like after some time, all that memories, all your ideas that you were having in those great kind of evenings of just philosophical, but like a bit whacked out, there was good ideas. I know you know that. There was good ideas there, and maybe you forget them now, but they'll come back later. And again, also just the idea of changing, just what you're experiencing and how it's, other people will take it differently, but our experience of how to break it as general kind of trends, I think is, well, for me, documenting my own will be useful for me. And then I think that kind of topic idea, everyone knows about. Everyone has to break some cycle. And so how to present that to other people in our other podcasting, in our public one, I think it's worthwhile. And it might be, well, hopefully, again, for the network, that would be the profitable thing. That people would come to it because it's that sort of real advice. Everyone has cycles to break. Okay, so love yourself. So Sean first, just saying why you should love yourself, because I see value in all of you. So Sean, as an inspiration, I say, like, again, where we met, and it was that honesty, just brutal honesty sometimes. And since then, even brutaler, but in a good way. Well, that's kind of separate, that one. Understanding, the ministry, that you would, that you have that desire. And again, you said it was the best day of your life when you were looking into the materials of how to get into the seminary school. Why can't I read? And that your understanding of mental illness too, that you'll have a better understanding for your congregation of just the most difficult times to go through. And I think that's what adds value as a minister. So that's why I say, when you become a minister. So anyways, I'm trying. Why am I drawn to you? I don't know where that was going. I guess it was because, in group we both had kind of similar mental illness in that sense. As a friend? I don't know why I said it just as friend. Frank, again, like knowing that he has a value as a father and as a husband. Just knowing that you're a good guy, Frank. And that anyone would be lucky to have you. But again, you have to. Sean and I mentioned that he's like you need to love yourself, and we're here to help you love yourself and see that, that value that you have as a really good human being, and just the cleansing in the morning, or in the evening, I guess, that a woman would be, there's a lot of women that would be very lucky to have you, and grateful too, I'm sure. And just, anyways, there's a good future with it. But there's just to know that you're worth it. Luciano, I don't know who you are. No, I just want to get to know you, Luciano. I'm sure, yeah, I get it, whatever. Oh, and then I wrote offer to help. So Sean, we talked about some Kijiji stuff, that I have this hoarding problem. So I have a lot of stuff. It's kind of used stuff, but maybe we could look into selling it, and that could be a financing option for the network, as it were. Say music equals friends equals the path. Oh yeah, you had a friend from music that was, it came around, that music. Anyways, anyways, the music to save salvation. No, whatever. Sorry, that was going somewhere. I don't know where that was going. I wish I had dated more women. Oh, that was another topic idea. Whoops. That was another topic idea. Like, really, I haven't dated a lot of women in my life. I kind of avoided it. I didn't really, avoided it. Maybe, like, we're talking about 5 or 6 total. And the last 5 years, too, like, we broke up 3 or 4 years ago, I guess, with my ex. And it was 5 years since I've had any sexual relations, I guess, penetration or anything, like oral or anything. 5 years of abstinence, I would say. So it was one of those differences, in terms of Sean's story and mine, that I'm more of the abstinence kind of guy, which is, maybe it's, I don't know, it's not shocking to you guys at all, but I just haven't, in knowing that I don't want to have a family with someone, is like, I don't want to go there. It's just like a step, which for me, they kind of go hand in hand, the sort of emotional and sexual. I tried that once. I had one night stand, and it was just supposed to be fun for the night. It was like a year I couldn't stop thinking about that woman. I'm like, oh, what could I have done? I should have did this and that. It was supposed to be a one night stand. Now I think about it again, it's like, dang, emotionally and the sexual, I couldn't separate the two. So that's it for the last 5 years. Before I get settled down, just like, no, I can't offer that thing. That's it. So anyways, talk to you guys soon. Thanks for, I post this on the right page. Yeah, this is just another kind of like, blah. Anyways, Sean saw it, so, and I was great. Anyways, oh yeah, God bless you. God bless you all. As I said to you, I don't really go for that full interventionist God, but in terms of blessing, I really hope that God blesses you all going today and tomorrow and forever and ever. So have a great day, guys.